Okay, there we go. So welcome everybody to CSUMB Transfer Week Bridge to Orientation. Thank you for joining us. For those that are joining for the first time and for those that are joining us that were here yesterday, welcome everybody. We have a bunch of resources lined up for you with some really good folks to hear from about ways that you can get involved and take advantage of services and resources at CSUMB to make your transition smoother and to help set you up for success when you become an Otter in the fall, or whenever it is that you transfer, because not everybody here is going to be transferring in the fall. We know some folks are interested in coming in the spring, and there's also just some prospective students. So welcome everybody. Like I said, my name is Jacinto Salazar. I'm the coordinator at the Transfer Student Success Center. The Transfer Student Success Center is the kind of the hub, the home base for transfer students whenever there's events or resources and you're not sure about where else to go to. When you have questions and concerns, you can come talk to us and we can point you in the right direction. There's a lot of opportunities for engagement that we have, and we'll talk about that later, and also later today and also later in the week. We have some of the transfer peer mentors here with us. I'll give them an opportunity to introduce themselves a little later on. Before we do that, a few housekeeping notes. If everybody can make sure that you keep your microphone off until we give an opportunity to ask some questions. You can either type those questions into the chat or unmute yourself and ask the question at that designated time. We're going to try our best to get through all the information and answer all your questions as thoroughly as we can. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. So a couple of things that we want to talk about to kind of frame what we're doing here today is some of the panelists you can see there on the side with the areas that they're representing. I'm going to let them introduce themselves as they do their presentation. But some of the things that we want to keep in mind about why we're doing this is that we want to begin developing that sense of belonging for transfer students. Also help you be a little bit more prepared to engage at orientation and be ready for that experience. And then also, like, we really want you to seek out and, we want to encourage support seeking behavior. And then also learn some of the differences potentially where appropriate for some of the support and services that you received at the community college and those that we have here at CSUMB. And so without further ado, let me go ahead and go to the next slide. And Education Abroad is going to talk to you about all the different cool stuff that they do.
Hi, hello everybody, welcome. My name is Julio Castro and I am the Education Abroad Advisor. I have been working at CSUMB for about 6 years now. I'm going on my 6th year. I do want to mention that I am a CSUMB alum. I studied abroad while I was a student at CSUMB for a full year in Spain, in Madrid, at the Universidad Complutense de Madrid. It's one of the many programs that we have available. If you have the opportunity, I just shot the link into the chat, so you can go ahead and find all the information that I'm going to be sharing with you. It's on our website and so much more. This is a QR code, so if you have a quick chance to scan it, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, again, the link that I just sent will take care of everything. Next slide, please. So a little bit of what we do, right? So education abroad, what does that really mean? So anything that really involves international, I have the opportunity of working with students who take part in anything international, whether it's study abroad for a week, study abroad for 3 weeks, study abroad for a month, for a semester, for a year, or 2 years. We have had students who have wandered around the world. They've been global Otters, just completing their academic courses in many different places, right? We also have programs that are called faculty-led programs, which is programs where a CSUMB professor and or staff members go and take a group of CSUMB students to a specific location and kind of as a group for about a week or two. We've had programs that are about 4 months, 4 weeks or 6 weeks. The length really varies. Something very unique about CSUMB, we have one of the biggest offerings in the entire CSU system. We have over 33 countries and we have over 100 universities that you can choose from to study abroad in many different ways. I mentioned that we have various lengths and programs, some shorter, some longer. We really want to make sure that students, especially transfer students, know that there's a program available for you. The worst thing you can do is dismiss yourself from an opportunity just because you're not too familiar with it. And that's why we're here today, right? To let you know, we have had transfer students who have studied abroad. We have transfer students who are already talking to us and we are advising with, so that we can plan your study abroad adventure and experience. So we encourage you to plan as soon as possible. So the planning has started now, right? You're about to hear a couple of the things that we have to say. We have programs also available nationally. Let's say you're not ready to leave the country, but you've always been excited to see maybe the East Coast or the Midwest, the Northeast, the Northwest. Maybe you've always wanted to study in Texas or one of the Dakotas. The National Student Exchange, you can study abroad for study on exchange for a semester or for a year. You can study in Puerto Rico, Guam, the Virgin Islands. All of these options that I'm throwing at you, they're on our website. So follow the link. We do have programs in the summer, in the winter. I do want to quickly shout out Study Abroad. We, for the last report right before COVID, we were ranked number 9 in the nation for a long-term study abroad in a 4-year public institution. So good job, students. Otters are out there wandering the world. Next slide. A couple of updates, right? So right now, travel, I don't think I need to give you updates on what's going on, but it halted, right? So we haven't had any programs for the last year. Us here at CSUMB, we have decided that for this summer and this fall, we're going to offer limited options. So summer is only virtual. We have virtual programs. For the fall, we have in-person programs. All the deadlines have passed. They were April 15th. It was a very competitive year. We had a lot of students wanting to go. The applications have closed for this fall. For spring 2022 and winter 2022, which is this coming semester, we are planning to send students abroad fully. So we're expecting a big surge in numbers. So please come talk to us. Know that all your financial aid is eligible for use for different programs, whether it's federal, state, grant, loan scholarships, any scholarship that you can get your hand on from any department. As long as you're completing academic study, come talk to me. I will work with you and your advisor so we can get that going. But study abroad, it's coming. We're waiting for it. We're anxious for it. We are going to be posting information on our website when we plan our education abroad fair. We're going to have our international partners, international students who have studied abroad, talk to you about their specific experiences. Anytime you have a question, please feel free to reach out to me. You can email us to educationabroad@csumb.edu. I'm going to shoot that email into the chat so you have that. But again, everything is on our website. So whenever you want to study abroad, come find us.
Thank you, Julio. If anybody has any questions for Julio, you could unmute yourself and ask right now, or you can drop that question into the chat. Also, we'll have opportunity to ask questions at the end of the formal presentations in case you can't think of a question right now, but one pops into your head later on. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next presentation.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bianca Tonantzin Zamora. I use she and her pronouns, and I'm one of the professional staff at the Otter Cross Cultural Center, also known as the OC3.
Hi, y'all. My name is Alamira Churro. I use she and her pronouns. And just a quick note, we are sharing our pronouns because here at CSUMB and in other institutions, we really do value, being able to express all gender identities. And so by sharing your pronouns, that's one way that we can affirm different gender expressions. So with that, we are the OC3, and in a minute after us, we have Otter Student Union, but we are a unit under the Otter Student Union. We will be located on the 3rd floor of the new building that's going to be coming up. Our values really look at affirming equity, creating sustainable social change, constructing brave spaces for authentic self-expression. And we hope that with our programs and services, we promote acts of healing in order to impact the communities we serve. And, you know, beyond the campus community, we do a lot of partnership work with local organizations. We've done some collaborations with some of our community college partners. So we really do try to connect our CSUMB community with our greater Monterey area community as well.
Yeah. You can find a lot of our programs and opportunities if you go on our social media. On Instagram or Facebook, we are CSUMB.OC3. And there you can find a lot of our programs. We also have internship program for you as well, and resources. So we have a library. If whatever book isn't provided by the library, we have a lot of works around social justice, as well as free printing.
So if we go to the next slide. We, in this picture, we're all wearing this Chisme Saves Lives shirt, and it's kind of our official slogan. And people ask us, why Chisme Saves Lives? Chisme, doesn't that mean gossip, right? But for us, it's reclaiming the narrative of gossip and really empowering us to share our stories. And everything that we do is really centered around storytelling, and that's how we start to uplift our communities. It's ways that we start to dismantle systems of oppression, and we do that in our work through our collaborative signature programs. This year, just to name a couple, we've had Monday Money Moves, which is a financial empowerment workshop series in collaboration with our Basic Needs Initiative. That was in partnership with Rita Zhang, a former coordinator for the Otter Cross Cultural Center, and now does, nonprofit work doing financial empowerment with the local Oakland community through her Community Roots Financials organization. We also do a lot of educational programs, not only for campus. We do presentations for orientation. We do presentations for different departments. We've also done educational workshops for different organizations off campus, whether that's through our student safe zone or faculty and staff safe zone. As Bianca mentioned, we do have internship programs as well as mentorship opportunities. We've had opportunities for us to fund conference attendance through our budget. So if you're interested in attending other conferences, we've funded for the National Conference on Race and Ethnicity, Circle of Change Leadership Conference, among others. In a minute, Bianca will tell y'all a little bit about our affinity graduation celebrations.
So if you are someone who is really invested or wants to learn more about social justice, we encourage you to come to our programs and also be a part of planning our programs. Our faculty, staff, and students, in collaboration with us, work to put on 8 different identity-based graduation celebrations. We call them affinity graduation celebrations here, but they have a special keynote. You might know some of the names. Harvey Guillen, he's from What We Do in the Shadows. It's a show on Fox, who will be our graduate speaker for a Rainbow grad. We have, in the past, we've had DJ Sizzle, if anyone's familiar. And we've just had a really, really powerful speakers for various graduations. And our goal is to really uplift the brilliance, knowledge, and stories of diverse communities. So please join us and follow us on social media.
Does anybody have any questions for the OC3, the Otter Cross Cultural Center folks about any of their services or any other information? You could unmute yourself, or you could drop the question into the chat either right now or towards the end when we do have a little bit of time carved out for question and answer. The other thing I want to point out is Carla is dropping a link to our evaluation for this session into the chat. So make sure you grab that link. And when we're done, we'd really appreciate if you fill that out for us. That's going to help us a lot. And let me go back a slide.
I do have a question.
Yes.
She mentioned that you do things within the communities, and the way to find that is through social media. I am an older student. I do nothing with social media. So is there any way else to find out about what's going on?
Yes, definitely. So we also have a listserv that you're able to sign up for our weekly newsletter. If you go to our website, you could sign in and sign up for our newsletter, and that's another way that we advertise our programs. And then also when you do come to CSUMB, we also list, and I don't know if this is going to continue to happen, but we also have our programs listed through the dashboard. And that's another way that students get involved through our programs.
So what's your website, specific website for this program?
Yeah, so it is, I'm gonna drop it in the chat as
Okay.
edu.edu/OC3.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I appreciate that question and that answer. And so now the Otter Student Union is going to talk to you about a little bit about what they do.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle White. I use the pronouns she, her, and hers, and I am the Assistant Director of Programs and Communications for the Otter Student Union here at CSUMB. OSU is the heartbeat of campus and a bridge to surrounding communities, providing spaces, opportunities, and advocacy that cultivate belonging reflective of CSUMB's founding vision. We operate according to our 4 values, which you see on the slide. It's fostering communities, valuing voices, cultivating social justice, and being rooted in care. We also have several different units. So you just heard from the Otter Cross Cultural Center. So they have a lot of opportunities, services, resources for you all. We also have a AV technical services team, a marketing and communications team, and our operations team. And so all of those different areas, including OC3, we hire students to work in. If you go to Otter Jobs, if you're looking for an on-campus job, go to Otter Jobs and type in CSUMB Otter Student Union. All of our current open positions are there. We do have some positions that are like flexible, so you can work remotely and in person, or even entirely remotely. But we also need a lot of students who are interested in working in person. We're opening a new student union facility, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a second. We're also a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. So we're pretty unique on campus. It means that legally and financially, we operate separate from CSUMB. So that makes us very unique. We have to make or break it on our own. So we cover all of our own costs for maintenance, utilities, custodial, those sorts of things in our new facility. But we also have a lot of services and resources we have to offer to you in addition to the new building. And so I'll talk about the services and resources on the next slide. So we do offer AV technical services for events. So that's sound, lighting, and production. We've done all those things for events ranging from just like a keynote speaker to large productions. We had a spring concert with E40 and the Ying Yang Twins as an example. We do have a board of directors. As a nonprofit, they help us determine our direction. And so that's primarily made up of students. We love to have representation from folks who have had different experiences on that board. 3 of our 4 executive officers right now were transfer students. It's a great way to get involved on campus. Those positions usually come open on a yearly basis. So they've been filled for this next year, but they'll be available. And usually in January, we start looking for folks. And so that gives you an opportunity to experience how a corporation is run, you know, like looking at budget, thinking about following through on different goals that the organization has set itself. So it's a great professional development experience. Yes, you are available to apply for open job postings before actual matriculation. That's a great, I think that's a great question. I think all you have to do is you just have to have your CSUMB email address set up, because you can only access the Otter jobs through that. So like you haven't, at least for us, you haven't had to start classes before you could start working with us necessarily. Marketing communications, we do offer photography and videography services for events. The OC3 just talked to you about all the services and resources they have to offer. Our operations staff we have an information desk in the new student union. So if you have any questions about things on campus, who to go to, they're a great resource. We also have a game room in the new facility, which I'll talk about more in a second. And we do offer reservations. In the new facility, there are 3 or 6 conference rooms that are available for reservations. We also have a group study space that's reserved on a first come, first serve basis. Excuse me. And then we also have a nursing room that's also a first come, first serve basis. So there are a lot of different spaces for students to utilize. Then what's going to be inside of our new student union building? Associated Students office will be in there. They're the student government on campus. We have a huge ballroom space. It's actually divisible in 2 by a skywall. Then there's the campus store. That's the CSUMB bookstore. They're just renaming themselves because they sell more than your textbooks. They'll of course sell school supplies, but also all of your CSUMB Otter swag. First year experience, which works closely with Jacinto. They offer student transition programming such as orientation, which hopefully you all will be signing up for to participate in. And they also help manage campus traditions. Foragers Cove will be our new dining operations. So there will be 2 new dining venues in the new student union facility. One is an Asian concept and the other is a burger concept. We also have an enormous servery space with lots of seating, booth seating, counter seating, all sorts of good seating for you all. The Otter Cross Cultural Center and Otter Student Union professional staff offices are in the facility. The Rookery is our game room and lounge space. And so there'll be 2 pool tables, a foosball table, a ping pong table, a gaming center, and a Dance Revolution machine. And we have this beautiful lounge. You can actually see the ocean from the game room. And we also have this outdoor terrace space with some outdoor furniture. And you can also see the ocean from there. Then there's the C-store, which is the convenience store. And so that'll offer some grab and go food items as well as toiletries and other sundry items. There is a Target about 2.5 miles from campus, but if you don't want to have to move your car because of parking, or if you don't have a car, this is really great, easy access for you all. Starbucks will be in the new facility. It was in our old building. It's moving into the new one. They have a huge space and they also have some cool cafe seating in there. And then finally, the student engagement and leadership development team will be located in the new facility. They offer Greek life programming, student organizations. They also do leadership development and service things as well. So they're a great resource for students. So lots of resources within the new student union facility. And next, Jacinto will show you a short clip so you can take a peek at the new student union. Cool. Well, thank you all so much for your time. You can find out more information on the OSU and what we have to offer at our website, which is csumb.edu/OSU. You could also email me at any point in time. I'm happy to answer any questions. And it sounds like Otter Jobs isn't accessible until the email is assigned. So yes, it sounds like you'll have to wait for your emails in order to apply. but we will probably still be hiring. We need to fill a lot of positions. So just throwing that out there.
So students will get their emails after matriculation, which happens on May 24th. So check back about 24 to 48 hours after that date, and you should have your CCMB emails. All right, next up we have Student Affairs and Enrollment Services, Student Life Departments.
Did Michelle, was there any questions for Michelle? I didn't want to like interrupt her. No. Okay, I'll go on then. All right, hi everyone. My name is Leslie Williams. I am the Associate Vice President and Dean of Students here at Cal State Monterey Bay. I also use she, her pronouns, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about all the areas within student life. And if you guys attend other sessions throughout this week, you're going to hear about some of them as well. So I'm just going to like super briefly and quickly go over them. So we have the most important one that you might want to know is the care manager. So our care manager deals with students who, like, we know that life happens while you're going to college, right? So if something is going on and you need support, or you're having issues with class, or you become sick, or you have a family member pass away, or like if something happens with life, she can help you with your classes and make sure you communicate with your professor and things like that. It's also like if you have an emergency situation where you might need some emergency funds, we have an emergency fund that you could apply for assistance, you know, say your car breaks down, or you have housing insecurity, or you have other issues, food insecurity, things like that, that we can support you with. She also can help with things like signing up for CalFresh, which is food support, and it's just like financial aid, but for food through the California government. And then they also have like services for off campus and on campus to help support students and, you know, all kinds of other basic needs and care manager type issues. For any of you who are parents, we do have a child care center on campus. The child care center typically is very full. So if you have a child up to the preschool age that you want to have in daycare, make sure you get a hold of them right away. Students do have first priority. So if there is a wait list, you would get onto the list at the top of the list. But usually it's very packed because only 48 kids can go there. So if you have any little ones, make sure you check that out. We also have first year experience. So first year experience is our freshman and transfer orientation. So those dates are going to be coming up in June. You don't want to miss that. And you guys are well on your way if you're attending this to be a part of that. So that is awesome. But they also do programs throughout the year. So they also do some things with peer mentors. They do work a lot with the transfer center to try and help students connect. So there's just lots of events going on through that office to, you know, kind of make sure, even though, you know, you're transfer students and you know about college, it's kind of help, you know, make sure you get connected to CSUMB and have that affinity for us as well as your previous institution. So recreation is where you're going to have intramurals, sports, the sports center. You also have sports clubs. If you like to be competitive, the sports clubs are a little bit more competitive. And then they have intramurals. So intramurals are just lots of fun activities, anywhere from volleyball to basketball, soccer, things like that. Right now they're doing all these things virtual. So they have tournaments like Uno tournaments and other game tournaments, like esports games and things like that. So if you're competitive in that way, look for those types of things. I'm guessing they'll continue some of these. They also do outdoor recreation, which is like taking hikes or going on bike rides or going on a camping trip, things like that. So there's lots of things that you can get involved in, and they're all either free or very low cost to students. So make sure you check them out. Student conduct. I'm guessing all you guys are going to be perfect students. You'll never have to worry about this. But if you ever do maybe make a mistake and get called into the student conduct office, the goal really is to just be an educational moment. So just talk to the conduct administrator, work through it. And usually 99% of the time, you're going to be fine. So the other big office, we have a student engagement and leadership development. So they deal not only with all of the kind of student life and engagement activities, but they have all of our student organizations. We have about 80 different student organizations that you can join. And then if we don't have one that you really like, you could also create your own, which is always a fun thing to do. They have Greek life. We have 13 different multicultural Greek organizations that you could participate in. We do civic engagement, which is about kind of community service, but also kind of civically getting involved in voter registration and calling out the vote and things like that. So lots of political type activity as well. We also have leadership development, which is like kind of developing your leadership skills and making sure you get involved and expand some of those soft skills that you'll need for your future job. And then it's also our associated students, where our student government office is, and student government, and making sure they're kind of the voice for our students. So that is another way that you can get involved on campus, is be involved in student government. So, and then the last office I'll talk about is student housing and residential life. So we are going to be open for the fall. If anybody wants to live on campus, you should be able to live on campus. We have all kinds of varieties, from traditional apartment style to where you share your room with another person, to where you have like an apartment with maybe 4 individual bedrooms. So there are lots of options. If you want to check those out, make sure you do that. We also have lots of jobs. So when you do get matriculated and you get your email address at the end of May, within student affairs and student life, we have lots of different student jobs. We probably have about 300 jobs usually. So definitely a way to get jobs. All right, my next thing is what you don't want to miss. Next slide. Summer orientation, the dates are June 11th, 12th, and 14th. I answered a question before, so it's in the chat of the orientation website. So make sure you don't miss orientation. Come to orientation. It is virtual this year, so we're going to continue that, but make sure you do that. Don't forget to apply for housing if you want to live there. Right now, it's basically first come, first serve. So the sooner you get your application done and your deposit paid, you'll be good. My Raft is a new app that we're launching at the end of the month, I think, for you all, for new students, in the sense I think that is how you signed up for orientation. You maybe didn't know it. But anyway, we're going to actually release the app later this year. And I want to make sure you remember to download the app, because it's going to be the way you find out all the events going on campus, how you can connect with other students, how you find student groups, and all kinds of fun things like that. And then in the fall, we have Otter Days. Don't forget, Otter Days is for transfer students too. So a lot of people think it's only for brand new freshmen. Half of our students are transfer students. So we definitely are doing these events for you too. So make sure you check out Otter Days and participate in those as well. And then we don't have a date yet, at least I don't know it yet. The student organization fair will happen sometime in early September. It's usually like the 3rd Wednesday of opening. So make sure you go and participate in that as well to get involved. That's all I have. I also have social, my next slide is my contact information. That is who I am. There's my email. Our website is right there on csumb.edu/student life. I also have social media. So if anybody wants to follow me on Instagram, I'm trying to learn how to do it. And I'm at CSUMB Otter Dean. Welcome, you guys. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Leslie. There was a question about when students get notified about their housing assignment. If you can give it. And so I will say this, that tomorrow, Student Housing and Residential Life will be presenting tomorrow. So come for a more thorough information and presentation about that. But Leslie could probably give a little bit more information about housing assignments.
Yeah, I think we're hoping housing assignments will be out by the end of June. Normally housing obviously takes, sign up happens a lot earlier, and we're 3 months delayed this year because of COVID. So we're going to try and get them out as early as we can. We hope by the end of June, early July. That's my understanding.
I have a question on that, on the housing.
Yeah.
I understand that we're supposed to decide by June 1st, whether it's a yes or a no, whether we're going to accept or not. So is the date going to be changed?
For housing or for admission?
For housing. We have to decide by June 1st, whether we're going to accept the housing or not.
No, because that might have been normal, but this year they're not even going to have the assignments out by then. Okay. You'll probably want to sign up by then. And then if you don't like the assignment, so you're going to want to put your application in for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone asked what Otter Days is. So Otter Days is like an extended welcome week before classes start. So if students start moving in like on Friday, it's events on Friday, Saturday, Sunday before school starts. And then they also extend through the first few weeks of school actually. So that we call them weeks of welcome because they last for so long. But it's just a bunch of different events early in the week. There is not a fee waiver for the $200 deposit. $150 of that is refundable if you choose not to live on campus. And then the other $150 will go towards payment to your housing.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And next we have our Undergraduate Research Opportunity Center, or UROC.
Yes, thank you, Jacinto. And yes, do follow CSUMB Otter Dean. I know UROC does. A follow for a follow. Thank you, Leslie. Yes, so my name is Eric Barajas. I am the outreach specialist for the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Center, more affectionately known across campus as UROC. As you can tell from our title, we are about undergraduate research. We are a really unique center here on campus, simply because we don't exist across any of the other CSUs. If you were to go to any other CSU, they may have some sort of research center or department that's focused on research, but our resources are strictly for students like yourself, undergraduates. We don't really work with graduate students, although that is something we're considering down the pipeline, but all our resources are strictly for you. What we do on campus is support the learning that is happening in the classroom through undergraduate research. Now, I keep saying undergraduate research, and a lot of you may not be familiar with what research is. So let me break that down a little bit for all of you. Can you hit next, please? All right, so academic research is an investigation that makes an original intellectual or creative contribution to a discipline. Simply put, you're asking a question, a very specific question, regardless of what discipline you are studying, and then you're utilizing specific methodologies to answer that question. Though in other words, the way you answer the question is really, really important, because each discipline has its own set of rules. And then finally, the granddaddy of research is dissemination, or just sharing your research. That's really important. That's what every undergraduate researcher, every professor, anyone who does any sort of scholarship or creative activity, that's the point that they are trying to do at the end, is to disseminate or share out their research. One thing I like to always, clear up with students is because they get hung up on this word, original, intellectual, and creative. A lot of professors at CSUMB are already doing research. And so your job is really just to connect with those professors and assist them with their projects in your own unique way. You're not going to be a lab rat or just, helping out, clean beakers. No, you are actually doing authentic hands-on research. Now, I just want to clear up as well that you've all done research, but the kind of research that you've done is basic research. If you've ever done a book report, or maybe you were part of your middle school science fair or history day, that is all a form of research. Anytime you Google anything, you're researching. We're just, we're just making a lot more high stakes with it being academic. So why do research? Next slide, please. There are lots of benefits. What? Oh, I thought you cut me out. Lots of benefits when it comes to participating in undergraduate research. As I mentioned moments ago, is hands-on. That's what makes it authentic. That's what makes it really, really cool, is that whatever research you're doing is intended to be hands-on, and you're able to apply the learning that you're making in the classroom to your research, and vice versa. Now, right now, all the research that students are doing currently is virtual, and they are still doing some really cool things. Students have continued to do research in marine science and psychology, in cinematic arts, in the humanities and communications. Whatever discipline that CSUMB has, students have been doing some sort of research around it. I think the networking that happens with undergraduate research is really, really important. It opens a lot of doors for you. You start meeting like-minded peers. You start meeting with other professors who may be part of programs that you really want to be a part of. And that leads to mentorship. I'm a firm believer that every student needs a trustworthy adult ally, or a professional in their life that can help them with professional guidance and support. And who better than a CSUMB professor who can, guide you through research, but also through the academic parts of it. The other part I like to mention is that at some point you're all going to need letters of recommendation or reference letters, and who better than someone who knows you both in the classroom and outside of the classroom. So, and of course, anytime you're participating with research, you're enhancing your academic and personal skills. As I mentioned in the previous slide, the whole point of conducting research is to disseminate. And that can be either through oral presentations, like this upcoming weekend, we have the CSU Student Research Competition, which is a statewide competition. That's what all undergraduate researchers strive to compete in, and only 10 students are allowed to compete. Or most students just do poster presentations, as you can see here with these two students who did research over at the Steinbeck Center in Salinas with a pop-up museum, really analyzing family engagement when parents leave their children to go play and how often they're on their phone. So lots of really interesting research happening, but most importantly, just the intellectual achievement. Anytime students compete at conferences or just at different research competitions, that feeling that you're part of this larger community and that you actually get achievements and accolades for it is just really incredible. So lots of great reasons. UROC has a number of programs that are perfect for students who are transfer students just like yourself. They're short term. And I know for anyone who's interested in participating in research, you want to get started right away. So be sure to shoot me an email. I have it right there on the slide. I'm also going to pop in our website in the chat so you all have access to it. Oops. Oh, there it goes. And yeah, I'm open to questions if you have any, but if you're too shy to ask, just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to chat with you some more.
Awesome. Any questions for Eric? Go ahead and, like you said, throw it in the chat or unmute yourself. And I do want to get to a couple of questions that were asked in the chat previously, after we see if any folks have questions for Eric and about undergraduate research opportunity at CSUMB.
Are there opportunities for the social and behavioral health?
Oh, yes. UROC supports all disciplines across campus. It really boils down to finding a research project and a research mentor. And I'm happy to assist every student in here with that process. Is there an Instagram for UROC? Yes, we're working really hard to grow it. Let me put it in, hold on. Is it UROC _ hold on. CSUMB, there it goes. Please follow us, just like you're gonna follow CSUMB Otter Dean and Transfer Student Success Center and OSU _ CSUMB and what's the other, who else is in here? Study Abroad and the OC3.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Eric. So what I want to do, there was a question, Leslie, if you might help answering this with me also. There was a question about whether, the most popular question right now is whether we're going to be online in terms of classes for the fall. And from what I've been able to discern is that it's very complicated.
It is very complicated, and we'll know for sure everything by the 10th of May. But my understanding right now is that we'll have enough classes online to help students who don't want to return to campus to still take classes from afar. So I'm guessing the percent's probably going to be 50-50, maybe 60% online. I mean, 60% in person, 40% online. So there will be options to still continue to take classes online. That will be for the fall semester. So just know that however, for the spring semester, we do think will be more majority, even more higher percentage in person. So when you're thinking about moving and things like that, that might be an impact. But we do believe we'll have enough online classes for students.
Yeah, in addition to what Leslie just provided, I think just to note that the campus is working really hard, right, to try to do an analysis and try to do the right balancing. Also knowing that some majors have a higher percentage of seniors that are graduating, and what does that look like? And so there's a whole lot of work going on behind the scenes to try to make sure that there's that right balance to try to accommodate as many people's schedules and kind of life situations as possible. So Like she said, May 10th is going to be the date, and hang in there with us, and we'll know more stuff as we kind of move forward. I heard that CSU were going to require students to be vaccinated. Is that true, Leslie?
So it will be required if the vaccine becomes approved by the FDA. So it is anticipated that it will become approved in July by the FDA, at least one of them. So if any one of them gets approved, I think it's going to be required for everyone. So I would say if you have the opportunity to get a vaccine, please go get a vaccine. There will be options if you have a medical reason not to get the vaccine, but all the process and how to get that exemption isn't in place yet. So if you have the ability, I would go ahead and get the vaccine, just because it's most likely, I'm guessing, to be required by the time school starts. But technically, if the FDA doesn't approve it, it would not be.
I think, again, in addition to what Leslie stated, the campus is doing a lot of work and really kind of trying really hard to ensure the safety of everybody on campus, students, staff, and faculty, and all the other folks that come to our campus to work and, you know, coexist in our campus community. And, you know, the vaccines are a great way to do that. And, you know, just making sure that we take the opportunity to keep ourselves and those in our community safe as well. And Stephanie put a link in there with some more information. Another question, when we say online, will it be more of synchronized or asynchronized?
I believe it's going to be both. And I think there's actually even going to be some classes that have like in-person options with people online synchronously at the same time. So I think there's going to be all kinds of options.
There's going to be hybrid upon hybrid options of classes for sure. So
yeah,
be sure to check those details in the course descriptions and all that kind of good stuff to make sure you know which class you're enrolling in. Other questions? I don't know if the peer mentors, if I missed anything from earlier. So one of the things I do want to mention, here's all of our contact information for the Transfer Student Success Center. We have our email, transfercenter@csumb.edu. You can always contact us here about anything you need, questions, concerns, or information. Our Facebook group, which is amazing. We have a large Facebook group of community of people. The peer mentors post in there on a regular basis about all kinds of things. We also have an Instagram, CSUMB_transfer center. I believe we follow everybody. I don't know if we follow Otter Dean. If peer mentors, if we're not on that, let's make sure we get on that immediately. Then we also have a YouTube channel, which has a bunch of cool information. And that's important right now because, as you can see, I'm recording the session. All the sessions for this week are going to be recorded, then uploaded to our YouTube channel. And I will send that information out to everybody who registered in case you want to go back and look at anything that you missed, or just refresh your memory about the information that was provided, or even pass that on to a friend who wasn't able to come today. Also, our website, csumb.edu/transfer center. We have all kinds of information, including a calendar of events where you can check out all the things that we do. We do a bunch of cool stuff like virtual front desk. When you have questions, you can drop into a Zoom. Our peer mentors do study session hours. You can learn a whole bunch of more stuff on Friday when we do a transfer panel with our peer mentors. And then also for the rest of the week, you can see Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the remaining days that we have left in CSUMB Transfer Week, and all the different folks that are going to be talking to you on these different days. So make sure you come to any of the things that you think are interesting, or you might need a little bit of clarification on. And again, this is a way to prepare you a little bit better for that transition to be successful, and then also help provide some context and help you engage when you come to orientation. So if you haven't done your enrollment confirmation yet, do enrollment confirmation. And then a day or two after that, once it's processed, make sure you sign up for orientation. Any other questions that we can address before we sign off here today? I do want to thank all of our presenters. If you can give them a virtual round of applause or drop those applause into the chat, they appreciate it. These are the awesome folks that we get to work with. And again, Carla's dropped that survey link into the chat. Please make sure you fill that out when you can. That'll help us improve this program going forward and make sure that we understand the things that you found valuable and the things that we can do better. So if there's no other questions, again, you can email any of these folks who have their contact information. You can email us at the Transfer Center if there's anything that we didn't get to that comes up later. If I have already signed up for orientation, when will more information be given about how to attend?
It'll be in the Tuesdays with Monty email that comes out on Tuesdays from the FYE office. And it won't, the exact information of all the logistics won't come out until like a few days before your actual orientation date. So whatever day you signed up, just know that that's your date, and then they'll give you all the logistics a few days before that.
Yes, thank you, everybody. What I want to do is give the transfer peer mentors an opportunity to introduce themselves. They've been working with me behind the scenes right here. I want to give them a chance to say hello and just say who they are, and a little teaser for the transfer panel that's at the end of the week.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bryant. I'm an HCOM major. I'm also one of the peer mentors at the Transfer Student Success Center, and I transferred from Delaware Valley Community College, which is a college back in the Bay Area, and I graduate in officially 25 days, so not here for too much longer. And I'll pass it to Carla.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carla. I am also an HCOM major with a concentration in communication studies. I transferred in from Cabrillo College, and I am also graduating in 25 days. That's so scary. And I will be passing it on to Stephanie.
Hey guys, my name's Stephanie. I am a liberal studies major. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am from Stockton, California, 2 hours away from Monterey, and I transferred from San Joaquin Delta College. I won't be graduating. I'll be able to see some of y'all next semester. I'm graduating next semester. So I'll hopefully meet some of you guys, and I'm excited to. Yeah, and I'll pass it to Selene.
Hi everyone, my name is Selene. I am one of the newest peer mentors at the Transfer Center, so I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting some of you in person soon. I am a psychology major, and I am finishing up my first year here at CSUMB, and I am a transfer student from Monterey Peninsula College.
Awesome. Thanks for introducing yourselves. Also, Brian dropped the link, the anchor link. We have a podcast, Transfer T with the TSSC. Check that out. We got 3 episodes up there. Again, yeah, there's a question about registering for classes. The most important thing you can do is go to orientation. You're going to get all the information you need about registration. You're going to meet your major advisor there. They're going to give you all the information to prepare you for orientation or for course registration, which happens about a month after orientation. So be sure to go to orientation. Can you tell that I want you to go to orientation? It's kind of important. Awesome.
I want them to go too.
So thank you all so much for being with us today. Like I said, hopefully we'll see you at the other events that we have for the rest of the week, and then we'll see you at orientation after that. Thank you so much, everybody. You all have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good evening.
Take care.